Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm speaking to you from the suburb of Otumotai, which is on the fringes of the city of Tauranga. In the background over my shoulder is Mount Maunganui. So Mount Maunganui, the beaches there, very popular, beautiful beaches in New Zealand, particularly during the summertime for holiday makers and tourists. And the mount itself currently closed, as I've mentioned in just some prior videos. Unfortunately, back in January there was a landslip there which led to the deaths of 6 people. So it's closed both from a safety perspective and out of respect for those people. Another beautiful day in the area, so the sun has been shining and I'm sitting amongst some pine trees. So the reason I've chosen that spot just relates to the pineal gland, so the third eye, which has certainly a bit to play in both my life and perhaps in today's discussion. Today I'm going to talk about life in the third, fourth and fifth dimension. Not so much the theory, more just the practicality of how it related to my life and how I went through each of those dimensions and where I'm at. Just a few things prior to getting into today's topic. I was just driving down from just a little bit further up the coast and I went through the suburb of Bethlehem. So Bethlehem, of course, the birthplace of Jesus. So just again the symbology there of the reminder that the historical figure of Jesus, who to me was probably one of these very, very enlightened souls. He was certainly a channel for the universe, or channel for God. Interchangeable words as far as I'm concerned. The universe, the source, God, all interchangeable, and he was certainly one of the very enlightened beings in history, carrying forth the message of, let's just say, the spiritual world. Also, just prior to me making this video not so long ago, I just met a young lady from the Netherlands. She's in New Zealand for 1 year and had the opportunity just to have a chat with her for half an hour or so, and she was most interested in some of the things I just chatted to her about, just again talking about my journey, my spiritual journey, me being out there offering the light, my mission, which is to bring light to others who may need it, and just give them some motivation or a spark or some inspiration perhaps to get on a path. And we had a lovely chat, and it was really good because she did mention at the time, she's certainly interested in the spiritual side of things, and had been to Peru and tried San Pedro, which is certainly the cactus there that can put you in touch with nature, so to speak. And she lived in Ubud in the Indonesia, which is a sort of spiritual kind of setting, so a lot of alternative viewpoints there as well. So we had a good chat, but she did mention, of course, that at times we can just need a prompt back into things, and if it's the spiritual world, well, I'm certainly someone who can give that prompt. So it's just again, it's a case of, it's just a pure gift to be able to speak to people, perhaps give them some inspiration, offer them my mission card, which I've shown you before, so they can go away and choose what they would like to do with that gift that I give them. So I'm giving them the gift of myself, access to all my videos and my writings, wherein lies the true real self, and me exposing to everybody what I hold. And what I hold is light, the channeling of the light. Also being back just closer to Mount Maunganui back in 2025, prior to me going on my first trip to Peru, which was just such a tremendous trip in terms of what I've spoken about, and going to my spiritual retreat and experiencing the plant medicines and the ayahuasca and the Sapa experience, going to higher realms, the shortcut to the higher realms I'd call that. But it was in Mount Maunganui in June last year, so just getting on for a year ago, that I was invited by a lady I'd met about a week prior, a traveller from Spain, to go and attend a meditation which was kirtan. I hadn't experienced kirtan meditation before, and I'd heard about it, and I'd certainly done meditations in my life. But it was at that kirtan meditation, which was the first time in a meditation that I had transcended. And transcendence does tie in with today's topic in terms of the dimensions, living in the different dimensions of reality, so to speak, or different dimensions of the universe. And transcendence took me to the higher realm for the first time. I saw and experienced what is in the higher realms, and since that time, all things added together, and of course everything prior leading up to that, all in combination, led to me in getting to that point. I live my life encompassing or integrating the transcendence into my day-to-day existence. And that, again, as I say, is really very necessary. You can't just live in the higher realms. It's an impossibility to just reach the higher realms, get what you can get from being there, and then not integrate it back into the material earth plane, so to speak. So tonight, it's being Friday night, that's when they run their kirtan meditations. I'm going to attend that again, so it'll just be a wonderful remembrance and a boost for me personally to go back and to the place where I first transcended. Right, so speaking about today's subject, so I'm going to talk about the third dimension, the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, kind of what that means, tying it into spirituality or my spiritual journey, and how it relates to me. So the third dimension is effectively what we experience on the day-to-day basis, the earthly plane, whatever we want to call that, the material plane, day-to-day life. In the third dimension, it's effectively the lower vibrational energy. The matter, the dense matter down here is the lowest vibration. All above the third dimension is space, and it's in the space where one should probably focus oneself for spiritual matters. But of course we deal with the third dimension, what's around us physically, and what we deal with on a day-to-day basis. So here we're talking about people thinking that we're separate from each other. Maybe some fear exists, fear of lack of things, fear of lack of abundance, the need to compete with others for things. There's just not enough. We've got to sort of run our own race. Competition unfortunately can also lead to conflict. Dealing with day-to-day experiences, as I've talked about before, it's difficult in the third dimension or on the material physical plane to solve things. Things take a lot longer to work through, is my experience now. I mean, you need to put a lot of energy into dealing with what's going on around you, distractions of the third dimension. So again, I'm talking about the stuff that happens outside. So when I was living in the third dimension, or solely in the third dimension, I wasn't a happy person. I mean, I was dealing with the depressions of life. And why does depression crop up? Well, it's that inability to interact with others, being separate from others, not thinking I had anything particularly to offer in terms of talking to others, so being very insular, being lonely. I was in the dark most of the time. I was still living on the surface of my life, probably some level of normality, so I was working in jobs and trying to make careers and earning money and trying to buy things, I suppose, for happiness, wondering where the happiness was. Was it something to chase and hold and possess? So I was very much tied into the third dimension, and for a long time, into my late teens, early 20s in particular, those were bad times for me. Mid-20s, I started to get an inkling that there must be more to life than just dealing with the physical material plane and all the stuff that I'd learned from what surrounded me, so my education, etc., my parental guidance, the people around me, the institutions. And I started reading. That was my first outlet, reading alternative things, and it was probably the start of getting into the fourth dimension. So my mindset sort of changed to, well, it's not to do with lack, but there's something out there. There must be almost a way, a road, a path, a bridge almost to get to something higher. So I had the inkling of spirituality, but I was also needing in the fourth dimension to deal with all my healing. So I had a lot of healing to do, and that took a long time. So right up until literally, I think 2025, and it's ongoing, but to deal with the bulk of the things in my life that I needed to heal. So dealing with my shadows, dealing with my darkness, but I was getting insights. So in the fourth dimension, getting those insights, I was getting some of the synchronicities happening, the one-offs, the stuff that was sort of saying to me, yeah, well, maybe there's more to life than meets the eye, which I talk about this a lot. There's nothing here that I haven't really spoken about before, but I'm tying it into this travel in the fourth dimension. And beyond that, the belief that there was further dimensions. And I'm only really going to speak about the fifth dimension from my perspective. And beyond the fifth dimension is multi-dimensional, that's for sure. And I've certainly had insights into those dimensions, but I'll go as far as the fifth dimension now. So the fifth dimension was when everything came together. It almost ties back into that moment of transcendence. So over my shoulder in Mount Maunganui, the night that I did Kutan, the realization that transcendence to that next dimension, probably the fifth dimension, was possible. I had a lot of insights into it before, but that's when I fully experienced it. So into the fifth dimension is into the higher realms. And the higher realms is, there's certainly no lack, there's no conflict, there's no separation, we're all one. So I've learnt those things through many ways over that last period of time. So I'm talking about, of course, life to life, or day to day, life experiences. I'm talking about my spiritual retreat in Peru, where I partook of the medicines, which was ayahuasca. I mean, that opened up the realms to me. So as I say, it's sort of a shortcut, takes you right to those realms. You see, you experience, you get the insights, the proof. In the fifth dimension is no time. In the third dimension, we're dealing with literally Newtonian physics, linear time. And talking about spirituality and getting into the fifth dimension, it's almost the need to sort of transmute beyond the speed of light. So you're going into a place where there is no time. It's eternity. You experience eternity. In my Sapo experience or ceremony, which I've written about in my writing, viviendolamahia.nz.com is the website for the free readings, and my other videos, I've mentioned this before. That is where one experiences the divine, eternity, the universe. The universe is infinite. That means the universe is abundant, and I have access to the universe. I channel the universe. So therefore, by definition, if I channel the universe and I know what's in the universe and I know its abundance, I have abundance everywhere. There's no competition in my life. I'm not seeking anything on the physical material plane. I'm experiencing on the physical material plane. Now, how to get to those highest dimension? Again, I mentioned there the meditation. I mentioned all of my experiences, all of my journey got me there. That's my journey, got me there. Everyone can get on their path, and I believe can get to these higher dimensions. I'm no one particularly special. I'm different, but I'm not special. Everyone can access this. And one of the things that really I believe, and I've really studied this a lot and I've experienced it, and the reason I sat under the pine trees because of the pineal gland and the pine cones, which are literally in the shape of your pineal gland. So the pineal gland is related to your third eye. It's your third eye, and the third eye is the insights into the mysteries of the universe. And once you can open your third eye, activate your third eye, whatever way you want to term that, that's when you start to experience the mysteries of the universe. And everything starts to open up. And then the crown chakra has the ability to open up. And if you even get into it from a scientific perspective, the pineal gland regulates serotonin, melatonin, and really if you're able to sort of get it working at its optimum level, it's going to give you the rushes of the chemicals that is actually going to, in your being, throughout your brain, but in your being, is going to put you into these places where the fifth dimension becomes available. So it's not a case where I need to necessarily understand all of the chemical aspects or all of the theory behind it. I do understand some of the theory behind it, but it's like I don't need to know that the light will come on or how the light comes on. If I flick the switch or the correct switches and the light comes on, that's the important part, because I've jumped into the light. In the light, everything is clarity. And the important thing is then to bring that what you see in the fifth dimension, which is way beyond what exists in the third dimension. It's chalk and cheese. It's once you experience the fifth dimension and what's available there, you want to utilize that in your life as much as possible. And that's what I do. I've brought everything, all of my learnings and all of my integration and all of my interpretation of what I've learned in the fifth dimension back into the third dimension. And I live this amazing life. So third dimension was my prior life. Fourth dimension was the bridge, and the fifth dimension was to delve into the magic of the universe, available to everyone. I can only encourage people to, if they're inspired to start getting on a path that may take them there. This information that I pass on is so important in terms of what it can do for people. That's if they choose to. It's not compulsory, but it's available. So yeah, I can just encourage people to have a think about this. If they're in a position where they're wanting to move from the dark to the light, which is just really what I talk about, that's there, and there's many ways to get there. So I'll leave the video at that. I'll thank you for joining me, and I'll wish you the best for the rest of your day. Continue on my journey and make a further video when it comes up. And as always, I'll say to you I hope that you enjoy the journey. We will meet when we should, and namaste.